Sorry guys, but I'm going to have to do voiceover. For some reason the sound isn't coming up. You can just barely hear it. But I'll welcome you back to Coastal Resin and Glitter. Tonight we are pouring a mold that I poured, or that I made, over a year ago. It was before Easter of last year, well before I was connected to any of the YouTube channels and even thought about doing this. I poured this. It is a bunny rabbit. The ears broke off when I was taking it out of the mold. So it kind of just sat there. I was a little bit on the discouraged side and just walked past it and wonder what it would actually look like. Well, today I decided I was going to pour it. And I'm going to use Dianka Pours Ultra White, my absolute favorite. One of many, but that one I use a lot. And one of her brand new colors, which is Touch of Velvet. I thought those two combined together would be fantastic in a rabbit. When you see the end result, without spoiler alert, it's fabulous. But anyway, and it was officially my very first mold that I had ever made. I did pour it in I think that's on the 15A or A15. Very hard, very stiff. I ended up having to cut it to get the rabbit out. And of course I put tape around it today. Then also the projects from a couple of days ago that was on the YouTube, the channel with Into Resin, the Into Resin little bird, and these objects are Into Resin molds. And they needed a little bit of a top coat, so I figured I'm going to just put it all together as long as I've got to pour some clear, and there wasn't much else that I was going to do besides just the rabbit today. So that is what I'm doing and trying to decide on. I think I ended up pouring, I think it was 8 ounces of resin is what I mixed up of Fast Cure. That's Resin Fast Cure. And divided it a clear to top coat the pieces on the right, and the other one I put a touch of red wine from Laura's Art Corner, the Octopus Ink. Love that color. One little drop is the prettiest pink on earth, especially if you put it into something that's a crystal. I did that crystal rose bowl of Into Resin with that. It is, even though it wasn't through the pressure pot yet, there was internal bubbles. I didn't have any external, but there was a lot of internal. It was still fabulous and sparkly. And as you can see, I'm putting the micas into the cup, and I'll put some, I almost going to say liquor. No, it's not liquor. It's 99% isopropyl alcohol obviously to dissolve the micas before putting it into the resin. There'll be a pause here and there, and I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure why the microphone isn't working. The last time I used the camera, it worked fabulous. So unless they just both needed to be charged, I don't know. We'll know when I get through here because I've got them both on the charger right now. So there I'm mixing the Touch of Velvet. That's beautiful. That is a beautiful color. And the tray and jar that I made a couple of days ago, and it's posted, you can see it, that I used 3 of Dianka Pours brand new micas, the Touch of Velvet, the Bear in, was it Bear in, what was that, what's the name of that? What was Dianka Pours? Bear in Cashmere. Oh, he cannot tell me he doesn't have a memory because he's got it better than I did. And what's the third one we used the other day? of Dianka pours, the new ones. We use the Touch of Velvet, the Cashmere,
and ginger root.
And ginger root. That's right. That ginger root is fabulous. That's what I used around the outside edge of that tray. It just is spectacular, beyond words. But her new colors are beautiful, and the micas are always really a pleasure to work with because they just come out as well as you expect that they would. And I didn't catch what I was just doing there. I'm just there I'm just stirring the 4-hour Let's Resin 4-hour epoxy, and shortly I'll put some of the resin into one of the little cups and put it into the back side of the 3 pieces that need to have a top coat. And clumsy me, I got a little bit towards the end. You'll see some of the resin I knocked and it spilled, and in moving the heart one around, I now have to sand the other side of the heart and I'll just put a little skim coat of UV resin on it and get that shined back up. But these sides are all going to be real pretty and finished well. Seems always strange to be doing voiceover because I don't know what it is I was talking about when we did things. But see here, this is when I'm going around and pouring and I'm on the back counter. Light's good. I was a little concerned about the outside sunlight, but it doesn't seem to be too bad in the screen. See there, some poured out in. You just have to, don't mess with it. Just let it sit there and you'll be able to wipe it off later on. Use my scribe to get into the points. Sorry, head in the way. Glasses on the top of my head. I see better without my glasses mostly. Unless I have to read tiny, tiny words. Get your head out of the way, girl. Sorry. I have no clue as to what it is I'm talking about other than the fact that I was back coating the. I probably was saying that why I picked orange and yellow flowers to go with those hearts is beyond me. First of all, orange and yellow isn't one of my primary go-to colors. I had pink on the hearts and on the base for the heart. Then I go with orange and yellow. Foolish. So I'm going to redo the hearts in pinks and maybe a touch of red and white. And then I'll probably redo the hearts with something that would associate with the yellow and the orange so that they're suited back together with the way they're supposed to be. And the other thing is I found, because I was puzzled as to how you set the heart in the heart with the bow, because there's no holes. Well, what you do in the when you're looking at the heart, the arch on the left, you put a eye hook, and then you put an eye hook in the heart in one of the spots. I think the picture shows in the middle of it, at the arch of the 2 hearts, or the indent of the 2 hearts, and then you hang them by one of the chains. That's how it is. But it's still got to be a tight fit because that's a good size heart that goes in there. This, it's a good size heart that goes in there. And that's, of course, putting more resin on the top of that snowflake jar lid. And that is for me, so I'm not pleased with the fact that in the long run, a couple of places didn't get any resin to it, because by the time I poured that into it, the pink into it the other day, it was pretty goopy and it didn't run anywhere. And I was, I guess, too tired to worry about poking it down in the holes, and I got to stop being that way because there was a couple of points that didn't get anything, but you'll see in the end, it's a gorgeous color. I love that, and I think that is red wine and white marbled together. Now, pretty soon I'll be putting that's the touch of velvet I'm putting into the glass of mica, or of resin, and then I'll put the white into a cup of resin. It's a good thing this is kind of a short video to have to do voiceover for the whole thing. This is kind of crazy. Talk about talking to yourself. As long as we don't start answering ourselves, I guess we're safe. And here I just decided to put a little bit more into the brown, or into the velvet color. It's not really a brown, but and it's not really a pink. It's kind of that in between, and it's a very soft color. I am very pleased with the outcome of what I put it into. Please beyond words, because I said that blue mold is my very first mold that I ever poured, and true to me, when I do something the first time, I don't choose to do it the easy way. Like I said, I used 15, and I didn't know that 15 was probably the hardest silicone that you can get. And for a big mold, that's quite a bit to worry about. And when you see when I pour the white and the velvet into the mold, I forgot to poke down for any into the ears for any bubbles or anything, but I did pick it up and squish it around. And then you'll see the feet. The feet don't have a connection between the two. You'll see how I work that out at the end when I demold. I like using the 4-hour. It sure speeds up what you can do in a day. Okay, I'm going to put you on pause for a little bit until I can think of what more to say. I must have found some bubbles coming up in that, and that is the stand for the one heart, and the other heart that you see there with that's got the bow, that just as a standalone heart. And I did spray the mold, and I sprayed it really good, which is probably a good thing, and I do have to start doing that. And this is the way I poured it. I didn't even put them together. I just poured them at the same time. And I think shortly, yeah, right here, I think I stop and I squeeze the mold and try to make sure that if at all possible, it gets down into the ears. Don't want any bubbles, especially on my first mold. That mold was a long time in this, just sitting there wondering when it was ever going to get used. And as you can see, it did come up in the foot area without a problem. And I had a little bit of extra. I don't remember what I did with the extra. That's crazy. Wasn't that long ago. I guess we'll see pretty soon what I did with it. Oh, I know. Yeah, it'll come up pretty soon. But it doesn't show the two colors for some reason. It didn't marble very well together. And I know why, is because I poured, when I think about it, it's because when I poured I poured the touch of velvet first, and that covered the whole mold, which we know the first thing that touches the mold is what's going to be seen. So that was kind of a crazy thing for me to have done is see, well, I didn't cover it all. I wonder if that is kind of odd, because I did have some white. That's You'll see at the end that the white doesn't show. That's odd. And of course I realized that I didn't poke down in any of the flowers that are in there, so shortly you'll see me pick up a rubber, one of the silicone pokey things, and poke around in all the spots. And where I should have poked around was the outside edge. Not necessarily the outside edge, there's two edges. There's the outside edge, and then on the inside there's a kind of a decorative edge. And I don't know if what I got, because what I got was off of it was consistent with the whole thing, but it's an odd texture. Sorry, not much to say right at this particular moment. Oh, I guess I'm closing out. And this is when I found that it was dripping underneath everything. And I should have just let it set. It was on parchment paper. It would have peeled up, and I could have just trimmed around it. Instead, I kind of tried to clean it up, and it really didn't help the situation at all. They both have to be sanded on the one side. The heart, not so much as the big heart or the solid heart. The one with the orange and yellow flowers, that has to be sanded. I don't know why that picked up so much haziness as opposed to the other one didn't. And I am going to turn the heat mat on for a half hour. So, no, for a half hour, hour and a half, I turned it on for. And I never turn it on above the low temperature. I have never had a need to have it a higher temperature. Ryan just walked through. I guess he had to need the burp. I think when I do the heart for the next one, I am going to do the marbling. And when I say heart, it's the frame part of the heart. I'm going to do a marbling of. I might go to using that touch of velvet, or maybe the bear in cashmere, and a yellow. Okay, I'm going to cut it off right now. Oh, it says do not take any actions during recording. Okay, so I've got to shut it off. Okay, I'm just going through, show you what we've done, and I'm going to unmold things. That I was showing you the back of that heart where it needs to be sanded and retopped. I wish some of the front would have turned out like the back is.
Too bad.
I don't understand why I don't have. Oh, see, and I should have left the light on. I was thinking it was too bright. That was weird. I should have left it on. Sorry about that. I thought that what was above me was way too bright, and it wasn't. It was just right. Lesson learned. Well, that's what that plaque turned out to be like. Not bad. There's no bubbles in it. All the flowers showed up. I will finish it off and put pictures at the end. But that part that I just had my finger around, it's like it's spiky, but it's consistent all the way around. I think that's a piece of silicone that is just there. It'll be pretty when I get some color on it. Okay, now we're going to the disaster. It's a disaster, but it's usable, and I'll use it. I have the jar I have is all pink, so it'll go well with it. But this first one is the bubble, is where with the arrow, none of it come out. What did come out was bubble free. It's just there was, I think, 2 places on it that didn't get the extension. And here I'm trying to see why the microphone isn't working. I couldn't get it to connect, and obviously it works because it's connected right now, and it's recording fine. All right, so I am unmolding the top. That is very much flawed. There's a couple of places, but it's how pretty it is. It's gorgeous. The color is gorgeous. I think it's rose gold or red wine octopus ink and white is what I believe I used on that, which I may decide to make a new cover for it. I'm not sure. We'll see. And now we're going to unmold the big guy. I'm kind of anxious for this one, not knowing for sure whether it's ready to be unmolded, because it is still a little bit on the warm side. I almost decided not to do it, but took the chance, and I had to find out where the cut was. See the rabbit face under there? And okay, and I have to lift the legs out of the holes. I'm not sure that everybody would have poured it that way. Some people, I think, would have poured it so that it was solid underneath the rabbit, but I wanted the legs. I wanted the body. And like I said, I was, new to doing this. It was over a year ago, or just about a year ago, and first mold I'd ever made. I did break the ears off of the master that what I made it from. And it took a while for me to decide to get my look at this. Look at how gorgeous that is. That is. Did you see this rabbit, Ryan? Look, come here and look at it. It's beautiful. Good colors. They come out good. The only thing I need to do is paint the eyes, paint the nose, and my grandson says paint the tail. I'm not sure why it's white. The tail would be kind of natural. Paint the inside of the ears, maybe a gray, maybe a pink with a little bit of black. But he is spectacular. He is the prettiest rabbit I've ever seen. And this rabbit will be for sale for anybody that is interested in wanting to have a rabbit. He is solid. He's a little bit on the heavy side. I'll have to figure out what the price will be. But he's beautiful. I have no bubbles, none even around the ears.